Hello and welcome to New World Review. I am Grand Line Waifu and I'm here to give you a thorough and well-balanced review of Just like Leorio, I can't even get through that without saying I am capable of fair and balanced reviews, but these are my thoughts, largely unedited, with deep thoughts that sound really stupid and really light thoughts that are actually quite deep. Like how much anxiety Farm Boy must have experienced at finally leaving home for the first time in literal years. You might not think it, but that, my friends, is the thought of a deep thinker, which I am. Ignore that Liam in the corner who likes to troll. You know what? We can just vacuum him up in a monster vacuum of death and he won't be able to troll me anymore, right? Right? Anyway, spoilers ahead. Episode 42. Kurapika's arc, or at least his mini-arc. We're focused on him at the moment. Opening the episode with Kurapika is such a great way to remind us after our week away of exactly what we're about to experience. At the end of last episode, we had drawn everyone together, or we were drawing everyone together, and I'll be honest, I was a little concerned we wouldn't get any solid direction in terms of what to look at, but the episode was really nicely organised. It was easier to jump between all the different elements of what seems to be coming together now, and it was interesting to see things happening and the way they brought them together. Let's get into it a bit more. Finally, we see our pal Leorio, who's acting oddly a little older than I remember. Knowing he is a teenager, I still get a sense of maturity from him. All those phone options and the decision to buy one that looks like a beetle. I love seeing tech as a sidebar. I love seeing tech work in this show because you can so easily see where they thought technology was going at the time. It's like a time capsule of thought and technology. I try to sound clever. Did I miss something? Did Leorio spend time with someone who has a completely different laugh? What is that? I can do that too. He's only learned 10, and honestly I'm impressed that someone studying medicine could even have got that far in his learning. So actually he's very intelligent. Killua thinking Leorio's an enhancer because, well, baka. I appreciated that callback to Hisoka's way of telling who fits what style of Ren. And so we jump from Leorio and his money-making schemes, which honestly I should have expected, to Farm Boy doing a really good impression of me stress-eating while I try to write my doctorate. It's an awkward situation because literally 24 hours ago I was explaining to Liam how I reached for a bag of popcorn and shoveled it into my mouth and it looked this. Maybe I am Farm Boy. Indeed, it does feel as though I was 10 the last time I was outside, so to be directly called out in this economy seems unfair. Given what we know of Piggy and Greed Island, of course he wouldn't be able to hack it. It's designed for hunters. Poor guy can't catch a break. I would have been quite interested to see him have to go through stress because he's leaving the house for the first time since he was 10, and that's intense and could have taken more of a moment than it got. Jumping back to Killua, see, we do a lot of jumping around in this episode. Why didn't he think to say earlier that it would take a really long time for them to gather the money they needed? Actually, it highlights something really important. Well, 2 things, maybe 3 things. It introduced us to new weird people, including weak right-handed, strong left-handed, and that guy from My Hero Academia who I have no idea why they're joining us, but we clearly need to know their faces for some reason. So let's bear them in mind. This is a note from future Chantel. Phantom Troupe. Yeah, okay, I get it. Thanks. Got it. Oh, another reason the moment was narratively important. Gon showed a little pity for the people he was grifting. It's funny because it's something my sister and I used to do. She's a very tall woman and always has been. Even when she was a child, she was a tall woman. We went to a fair when she was 8 and asked them to guess her age in exchange for prizes. They thought she was 14. It was wild because that was closer to my age than hers at the time. And so we won many a prize. Anyway, Gon showing pity and breaking out in a cold sweat was an interesting moment. It's really stressful for people with low empathy to maintain it, which suggests Gon was actively feeling the empathy and choosing to try to feel that empathy, which is so interesting. Another thing, if it will take them that long to get enough money to go into that concert hall auction house, that means something else will happen to get them in, because it has to, or they won't get in. And the whole point of this arc is for something to go down at that very specific location, right? Once we'd left Gon, Killua, and Leorio, the jumping around began in earnest, but at least Frames sat with us so we could get a little more of an emotional connection between them. I really appreciated the insight into characters. Seeing how they move and the mood and the music that accompanies them is what gives me context as to who they are and what part they might play. Last episode I struggled with that. This episode I got exactly what I needed in frame length and direction to really hone in on the important figures of each group. My love was here. Does he want to kill the head of the Phantom Troupe? What's going on here? There's something so intense happening because of course it would be with Hisoka, but I don't understand what it is. And it's not a trope. He's not a trope. Troupe. Oh, he's a Troupe. I'm sorry. He really is. I also don't understand why Neon would be so desperate to attend an auction in person. Oh, well, I guess we'll find out. Her dad's coming personally to fix things, so sure, let's up the stakes of the entire situation even more. Finally, Melody. Melody. A music hunter? That's so cool. I loved that we didn't see her injury. I love that she hears the melody of his heart. What does she play? She heard music, but does she play it? The problem is that now I'm wary. Liam warned me that there are no good or pure characters in this series, but Melody seems like someone who could be. She just wants to take something dangerous out of the world, for goodness sake. Why do I suspect that there are going to be a lot of people hearing the Dark Sonata? Maybe it'll be part of Greed Island. It says a lot about what Kurapika thinks of her that he's told her he's a Kurta and wearing contacts, even if she knew he was willing to kill her. The two of them seem to be becoming friends. Or not friends, but allies. She sees something in him and he's beginning to see that she's different. She could be absolutely playing the long game, but even if she is, there's something really charming in their frank and honest discussion. And all of this sat on the backdrop of the flute, possibly the flute solo she heard that destroyed her body. It's a heartbreaking story that she has, and her reasoning is closer to Kurapika than he probably expected. And the art style shifting to a hugely abstract one was incredible because we couldn't imagine the softly spoken, sweet melody to be associated with that broad stroke, harsh style. I'm really looking forward to learning more about her. Episode 43. Well, the long discussion about how important everyone in the auction house was. I mean, I literally wrote a note saying it was the calm before the storm, then a guy turned up with guns for fingers. I appreciate the names for these powers, by the way. The Ambereddraws double machine gun is indeed fearsome and cute all at once. You know, something I can say about this episode is that I'm not the only one who was confused by everything that was happening. All the characters were too, and that's great because I don't feel left out anymore. In fact, every single character was, except Hisoka and the main phantom Troupe guy. He seemed capable of pulling everything together fairly easily. Goodbye to all those characters we saw that I didn't learn the names to properly. Huzzah! We still get haiku, but no more kisses or, busy, which honestly it's hard to see as a bad thing. We say goodbye to weird sideburn guy, and I don't even remember who the other one was. We never really needed to know who he was, so that was fine. Tosino, Tochino, Tokino, Toho. The sideburns didn't save you. You were dead before you realized you were, which reminds me of that other anime, the one where people explode after a punch. Not One Punch Man though. Though that is a thing. That other one. Yeah, the old one. That one. See, I know anime. Anyway, sideburn guy that looks like eyebrow guy is dead, which is sad, but not entirely unexpected. It's just a few episodes later than I expected it to happen. Beze, though. Her death came as a surprise, not least because it's a really sucky way to go. Being smacked over their head by a vacuum cleaner with a mouth? Hang on, sucky? That pun was unintended, but I'm going to take it. It's mine now. The fact that we shifted to the purple world of slow motion and silence was beautiful because we saw Beze's mind empty as she tried to get away, and Shizuku's mind empty as she focused on the task at hand. We dropped the text and let the visual speak for itself. Speaking of visuals, we've now had the nerdy woman with the bees, the breasty hardcore woman jumping off cliffs, the housewife, the woman of colour in servitude younger than she should be, and the traumatized and dramatically ugly but sweet on the inside woman. Oh, and we've got punk woman back at the hunter contract place. Oh, and the tantrum-beat teenager. I love a good stereotype me. I truly do, but I'm ready for a regular female cast member. Actually, Phantom Troupe healing woman is pretty cool. Kind of badass, kind of does her own thing. Tell me more about her. She doesn't seem to enjoy the stereotype she's been placed in, at least, as a healer. Feminist hour aside, I agreed with really big gun finger man. They were all dead so easily and so fast. There was so much of the auction based entirely on trust between thieves, and yet not at all about trust between thieves because one of the shadow beasts came and removed everything from the vault. I'm not sure what to make of the situation at the moment, but there are a lot of double crossing more double crosses, which is very odd. Question. Was Hunter x Hunter paid to advertise iPhone? Because everything is iPhones, despite the screen of an iPhone going dark when you hold it to your ear. True story. Sorry, it's beginning to get distracting now, so I had to call it out. Hisoka, darling, are you a traitor? What's exactly going on? Why wasn't Hisoka anywhere on the scene? Is he trying to help Kurapika? Is he trying to make things worse? Why didn't he get involved? And why was their leader just watching him the whole time while they talked? Hisoka seems to have more power over this situation than he should have, and I don't know what's going on, but at least I know that I don't know what's going on. I apologize for jumping around. I jump because there are so many things to jump from and to. Who are these 10 dons? Were they there that night? Were they shot as Are there shadow beasts? Please, no more silhouettes. It's becoming a really frustrating mechanic to introduce us to new characters, especially when they then turn up at the end of the episode. I understand that should make things easier, but introduce a series of silhouettes to a child who grew up trying to guess which Pokemon fits that shape, and I can't look at silhouettes without questioning who might be who. It's really hard being me. Do you think, random dude, do you really think it might be possible on some planet that we're not dealing with ordinary thugs? They just walked into a fully armed and protected space with big bosses and a huge quantity of power. Not only that, but they left the room pitted with bullets but no evidence. Oh, I sigh. You don't need nen or renen or rentenen or renten to be better than random dude. Be better than random dude, everyone. These last scenes had so much testosterone and suit material. Everything got very graphically violent very quickly, and while I don't really care, I don't feel like enough has changed from the Hunter exam to now to warrant the sudden shift in artistic violence. I don't mind it, really. It doesn't change whether I watch. It's just such an odd shift. Maybe it's to show that we're in the real world now, but it's such a stylistic change that I wonder at this point whether they changed art director or something in the series, as we were exposed to Hunter x Hunter's answer to Wolverine. And those aliens. Aliens. We ended the episode with pointing out just how much Kurapika and Melody have to learn. Melody only sensed one heartbeat, which either means the others don't have heartbeats or they're so powerful Melody couldn't sense them, or they materialized as they turned up. In any of those cases, our kids are kids, really. It's nice to see where they're going, and you know what? Now I'm going to make Liam feed me because I'm hungry. So that's it from me. I'm getting angry because I'm hungry. I'm hangry. If you enjoyed this episode, click that thing, or that thing. You better click this thing. I'm sure there are a lot of things on screen that you can click. It's fun clicking things, so click things now. I'm hungry, Liam. Please feed me.